These palettes work well for you if you're a summer. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I have 12 eyeshadow palettes here for you that I think will go really well with your coloring if you've had a color season analysis done and you fall somewhere within the summer seasons that are part of this system. I just had a color analysis done for myself in July. I came out to be a true spring, but I love myself a good summer palette, you could tell. Summers are cool and then muted by gray tones very often. So that's really what I have for you here. It's a lot of gray leaning eyeshadow palettes, but I have a couple of excellent, more colorful picks for you as well. So let me get started. This video is part of Eyeshadow Palette Month, where I'm doing daily videos this August telling you all about eyeshadow palettes. And I thought I could just do a mini series now that I've had my own color analysis done. And I've sort of been dabbling around just a little bit more than I had before to sort of figure out, okay, what might be good makeup products. And for a summer, I think there are actually more options than you might think at first glance. It's cool tones, and we all know I love a good cool tone, so is it any surprise that I had no issues finding items to recommend to you? Again, you don't have to run out and get any of these. Some of these will no longer be available, but these are things I think you could look out for if you are somewhere in the summer spectrum. We have the Catrice 5-in-a-box Diamond Lavender look. This is such a good palette if you're a summer, because this is everything that a summer pretty much stands for. It's gray, it's muted, and it's cool toned. And this is also quite soft, so if you're a light summer, I think you might like this especially. Another Catrice palette is this soft Peony palette. This is excellent if you fall more into that like pinky vibe, if you're more like a true summer or maybe like a muted summer. I'm not really doing like the subcategories of like different types of summers here because I'm not that much of an expert that I can say, hey, I would recommend this. But if you fall into any of these summer palette sort of categories, then I think you will find something here that you might like. Again, gray tones, quite muted, and then the pops of color that we do get is pink. Which again is a little bit more cool toned, and definitely if you are more muted or light, I think you have lots of options here. Not sure they still do either one of these though. I think both of them were discontinued. But Kaleidos, I've actually, for a lot of these color analysis videos, I've been able to feature at least one of my little Kaleidos quads that they've done. This is Twilight Rush, and this is the more gray purple leaning one that they do. And I think this is beautiful if you're a summer. It's very muted. It's sort of like borderline grungy, but not grungy in a brown way, but grungy in a gray way, which we all know I like. So we have some deeper like gray tones in here, and then these muted, purpley, lavendery, mauvey sort of shades. I think this is an excellent pick if you are a summer. And these are still available, these quads. No longer available, but again, an excellent pick if you're a summer because it's grays with purples and a hint of pink, is this Dior Silver Essentials little palette. This is from their Backstage range. It was limited edition for Christmas one year, but I do think that Dior does come out with color stories like this also in their 5-pans quite a bit. So if you want something a little bit more satiny, a little less on the shimmer, then this is absolutely beautiful. And I think it can work really, really well if you are a summer indeed. But I think the ultimate eyeshadow palette if you are a summer and color season analysis is the LH Cosmetics Daybreak palette. I already said it when I bought it at the right off the bat. This is such a summer coated palette if I ever seen any. You have the bright pop of blue and then these nice gray tones, the pinky tones, the purple. It's mostly cool tones. So beautiful. I think you are gonna like this a lot. It's also quite soft. If you are a summer palette indeed. But the ultimate all gray color story I have in my makeup collection is the Ghostface Lives. This is an all gray eyeshadow palette. It's got blue undertones, it's got purpley undertones, it's got green undertones. If you want grays, this was one of the best palettes that was ever done. Again, I think very much discontinued. This is like the story of my life. I like something and then they discontinue it. Who else feels that way? Because I definitely feel that that's the case here. Ooh, there's a hair. But here's what that color story looks like. You can see it does have a little bit of depth, so this could be a little bit too deep for most summers, but depending on where you fall into the spectrum of a summer, you may still be able to get away with quite a few of these. I think that this is an excellent palette if you are a summer and you want something that's all gray. And you have this lying about and you're like, oh yeah, I had forgotten I had that. Maybe play with it. Now this one is going to be very hard to find. This is by Makeup by Lisa. It's the Raven's Castle palette. Another very gray leaning color story with a pop of pink and a pop of purple. Do you catch my drift? I think you do. But this is a very small one-woman show. I think she's based in the Isle of Wight, and she's an MUA who does a couple of makeup products on the side. Things go out of stock really fast. I don't think this is still around even. I'm not even sure if this brand is still around, but as far as a summer color story goes, it doesn't get any better than this, I guess. I mean, this is very, very summer coded if you just look at the shades that go into color analysis summer types. Now, this is the one that's a little bit out there because this does have a little bit of warmth, but I do think that the Vintage Glam by Gloss Gods is another one that you are gonna look really pretty in if you are a summer, especially if you fall more in a summer palette that's closer to autumn. So if you want that mutedness, if you do want to play with those like brown tones, in some color season systems, you can sort of like borrow things from either the palette that is opposite to yours or the one that's next to you. And I think that if you are in a summer palette that could borrow from autumn, then these are your shades. I think that especially this middle row is perfect for summers because it's bright, but also quite muted with a gray tone very much. This top row is more muted with brown, and then you do have peachy tones. So that's why I'm like, this is like borderline pushing what might look right on you, but this, like, I think if you stay away from like the overly orangey tones, that it's not gonna make you look weird, and I think there are plenty of shades in here that you might really enjoy. But I think that if there is a color season analysis palette that can get away with lots of different pastel shades, it's gonna be a summer, and the Glam Eyes by Wycon. This is their coolest shades. What's in a name? I think this just has loads of good items for you if you are a summer. One of the things that I like about this so much is that even though it goes deeper, this is a blue. This isn't a black, it's not a brown, this is a blue. It's mostly cool tones, you get a little bit of peach here, but actually it has quite a bit of pink in as well, so on my more neutral skin tone, I feel these don't look too peachy, like it's not overly orange, you could say, and I think this is an excellent pick. It's quite light, which is why I think it's going to work really well for lots of summers, because their palettes are some of the lightest ones out there, and I think it's one of the color season analysis palettes that has the least depth of all of them. And then you just have those wonderful shimmers in, and then the pastels. Especially if you're a summer with a light skin tone, you're gonna love this. But some people want more intensity and they want more oomph kapow effect. If you still have the Fantasy Cosmetica Cradle in Ice, I think this is the palette for you. There's blue tones in here with these lovely like silvery shimmers, and then some really good neutrals. This is warm, but everything else is quite like neutral leaning, so I think you can get away with it. And then you have that bright pop of pink. I think this can work really well if you are a summer, but you want more depth and intensity. Like if you're a summer and you want to go for something like this, like you want to do a navy smoky eye, I think that this can push you in that direction without it looking crazy. So here is a really, or maybe if you're a summer palette and you have a deeper skin tone, then you're of course going to need more depth to make it work. So this one I think is going to be nice for those people. Another one that I think is going to be very hard to find. I do apologize. I have these in my makeup collection. They existed at some point, but that's why I'm saying like this is not like run out and get these, but these are color stories that I think that if you see them around, if you see an eyeshadow palette that's being released with colors like these, that it's something to go like, hey, I'm a summer, these may be nice for me. But the Sugar and Spice by Glaminatrix I think has some really nice like fun, slightly brighter, it's perhaps a little bit more saturated, but this is very sort of cool tone neutral in the neutral row. Then it has this pastel pop of color, and then it has some really beautiful shimmers here. I think this, again, it is borderline, I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit like the Gloss Gods, where I'm like, yep, it works. It can definitely work if you're a summer, but again, maybe more so if you are looking for more depth or more like intensity, or you just want to glam it up a bit more. but I think that this is an excellent one if you are a summer indeed. But I think one of the most, like, one of the best palettes for summers that can be like a one-stop shop, if you're looking for something colorful but you don't want it to be too intense, the Crystallized from Bella Beauty Bar. This is a very sort of gray leaning color story with all of these like softer pops of color. There is intensity, but again, not a black, not a brown. It's blue tones. And then this is a purple actually, which is a shimmer. I'm not sure if you can see. This also has a purpley undertone. So a lot of these shades are going to work so well on you. The only thing that's a little bit of the odd one out here is this one, because it does have a peach shift. So that has warmth. But everything else in here, I think this is an excellent, more colorful color story if you don't want something that is overly gray toned and you just want to have fun with colors. I think this is an excellent palette if you are a summer. And those were all of the picks I have for you here today for people who are a summer color story or color season analysis, I should say. Again, you may disagree with some of these. I'm still going to do winter as well. I got lots of requests for good winter palettes. But if you're a winter, you're bright and cool, so we're going to have a lot of fun color, like pops of color in that video too. I already have a few ideas of eyeshadow palettes I want to feature there. So thanks so much for watching me here today, and then I hope to see you again really soon in a video. We're doing daily videos. I'm hosting a giveaway because it's eyeshadow palette month, so I'll link you to that video down below, and then I hope to see you again really soon. Bye bye!